Hi everyone and welcome to Stamp with Angela. I'm Angela Palmer and I'm excited to be here with you today and to inspire you and give you some ideas to help you with your stamping, card making and paper crafting. So I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based on the North Shore in Auckland, New Zealand. And I realized that this month in July, I've actually been a demonstrator for 12 years. So I started when my youngest was like about 1, and I just signed up, thought I'd do a class a month, get some of my own supplies, and just a chance to do something I enjoy and get-togethers with others once a month. I never imagined how long I'd be doing it for, like for 12 years later, and certainly never imagined doing things like, these lives and stuff and making it a part-time business as well. So lots of opportunities. So I've definitely learned a lot along the way, and I enjoy my card making and things. And it's nice to be able to share it with you too. So today I'm going to show you an idea of sometimes we want to make a card, but we just don't know what to make. And so sketches are a great way to give you some ideas. And I'm not sure if you realize, but in the annual catalogue, they're very small, but they are there. There are some sketches that you can use. And so I'm going to show you how I've used one of those to create today's card. And sometimes we just need a starting point to help us, because there's so much that we can use or do and we just don't know where to get started. So having something to work from helps us. So I will turn my camera to my table and I will show you these sketches and we will get crafting. Please remember, if you've got any questions, please ask, or if you comments, I'd love to know where you're watching from, whether you're watching live or watching the recording later. I appreciate you being here. I know some are watching this on Facebook, others on YouTube. So I appreciate that. And if you're on Facebook and you haven't, please follow my page. And on YouTube, feel free to subscribe and click on the notification so that you'll be notified of other videos and lives in future. All right, so let's get started and we will do some crafting. Okay, so here is my table. And sorry, I just realized I wasn't on the comments, but now I can see them. Hi, welcome to those that are here. Hi, Sheila and Joe. Good to see you. Oh, yes, thank you on the 12 years. Yes, I know it's amazing to think that time flies. And I've got other team members celebrating occasions too. So well done to them as well. All right, so this is the annual catalogue. And if you have a look on page 22, it talks about card design and things. And down the bottom here are some card sketch ideas. They are little, but if you take a look, you can see some different things. There's no measurements, but it's just kind of a starting point. So what I've decided to do is I've chosen this one here, and it's actually, let's see the big version. It's actually one that I've chosen for my team as a challenge this month. It's great to see what different team members like to make. And I thought, well, if we have a sketch we can use, and it'd be great to see what cards everyone makes. So I thought, well, I've got my card, so I'll share that with you guys as well and show you, how I've used the sketch and where else I got ideas from. And also we're going to use blends, and I'll just show you a little bit about those as well. So today's card is hiding. It was right here. Oh, here it is. So it is this here. So quite a sort of simple idea, but you'll see we've got the color around the base, which I've textured, our focal rectangle, and then our sentiment. Now, obviously, placement-wise, in the sketch, it's a little bit lower, which should be across that flower, so I don't quite want to do that. So in hindsight, I probably would have stamped it a little bit lower, so I can put my sentiment a little bit lower. But it doesn't have to be exact. It's a starting point, and you can go from there. And then I've obviously added a bit of twine and some embellishments and things to it as well. So for my colours, first of all, I had to see what Stampin Blends I had. And I like the Petunia Pop, but I wanted to stay away from the other in colours. And I thought that I would use Mossy Meadow. So this morning I had a class and we made this card here, which is quite a few layers and things. And this was an original idea. This was by Jamie Babaski. I'm not sure exactly if that's how you say your name, forgive me if it isn't, because I wanted to use the Thoughtful Thoughtful Journey papers, and that has a bit of Mossy Meadow in it. And someone today in the class decided to go with a bit more Mossy Meadow with their sentiment and things, and even inside the card with Mossy Meadow. And I thought, oh, I actually quite like that Mossy Meadow. So that's where I got my inspiration of the Mossy Meadow from today's card. And then obviously the background I've embossed in the same, but obviously the dark color. And then I decided I really like, as you probably have known, the Spotlight on Nature set. I've used it a lot. A couple of weeks ago, we used it with watercolor pencils. So we made those cards. And remember, when you're using watercolor pencils, I use the Stays On ink, so that if you're using either the water painters or the Stampin Blends, then the color doesn't run. Okay, so that's what I use that. But today, we are going to use the blends, Stampin Blends, which means we need to use Memento ink. So that's one important thing to remember. So these are alcohol-based pens, so you don't want to use an alcohol permanent-based ink. We need to use a water-based ink, so that's why these two go together nicely. Okay, and so I have used a couple of dies, but if you don't have dies, you could quite easily just cut out a rectangle. And I've also used another die for the banner. So I used the banner from in here and the deckled rectangle die for this one here. But like I said, you can use whatever you like, or you can use or you can just cut a rectangle as well. Okay, so what we're going to do first, I might actually emboss this a little bit first, and I can put aside before I cut it out, and then we'll do some colouring and things. Oh, it's good. I see some team members are on here, and I know Sheila said that she's done hers but hasn't posted it yet. I'm glad other people are doing it as well. I know school holidays. I know, Joe, it's hard in the holidays to get stuff done. I found it harder to get things done in these holidays as well. So, yeah, with the kids around. I mean, it's lovely having time with them and all that, but then it is hard getting, the normal stuff done. Okay, so I'm going to get a piece of Mossy Meadow and go over it with my embossing buddy, just to get rid of any static. I'm just going to use the Thanks stamp from that set with my Versamark ink. And I want a little bit of a gap. It's not even straight on the block. I'm stamping first so that I can, line it up and cut it out nicely. And I'm going to use this tray. You can use a piece of paper or this tray. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but I've got an extra line there, which is probably from around the edge of the stamp, but we'll just brush that away. Flick, flick. So can you see how I've got an extra couple of bits there? So what's probably happened is I've just gone a little bit too close to the edges. But before you heat it, and that tea's a little bit blurry, I might actually do another one, and then we can do them both and see which one looks better. So let's just do another one as well. While we're doing it, we might as well just, and this time I'll try not to press quite so hard. So more of it, and it's not on the, oops, it's taking the camera instead. There we go. I haven't got extra lines and things this time. I think that one's going to be better. Oh, we still managed a couple of lines, but that's okay. I think the tea's better. I'll get rid of the excess bits. Okay, there we go. I will, so with this tray here, I can open that out, tip it into the, let's quickly do it so you can see what I mean. So it makes putting it back in nice and easy. So just make sure we aim it up properly. Tip it back in. I would get a brush. I've got a brush that actually comes with it, and make sure all the bits are in, particularly if you're going to change colour, because you don't want black with flecks of white in it, do you? But this is, quite useful for put in, and it comes with the embossing buddy too, which gets rid of the static. So I'm going to turn on my heat tool. Just got to plug it in because my computer was plugged in, because it seems to, the battery goes quite quickly. All right, so we're going to heat. Oh, now I just knocked it. Let's just focus on this one. Some people go from behind. I like to go from the top. This mat is heat resistant, the glass mat, which is great. And you'll see it start to change colour and it will go nice and shiny. And I don't want to cut it straight away. Although it's dry, it's a little bit sticky and I don't want it to kind of, you know. So if you look at the two, here's the one I knocked. You can see that that is quite dull and powdery, and then that is nice and shiny, which means it's done. So we'll put that aside for now, and we will do a bit of colouring. So for the sake of time, I've already cut out my deckled rectangle. I started off with one a bit smaller, but it's a bit too small. So, you know, try it on the page and see how it looks. And I am going to sit. Usually often I'll stand up when I'm crafting and doing my lives, but when I'm colouring I need to be a bit closer. So I'm just sitting down at the moment. Now remember I said I want it a little bit lower. So I'm going to bring it down so that we can put our sentiment a bit higher. So I'm using Memento. Oh, there we go. And then we'll put our sentiment up there. So if you haven't used the blends before, they come in a dark and a light. And for these kind of things in particular, I like to use the thin tip, so thick tip, thin tip. And they are tight to take off because we don't want them to dry out. Now, people do this different ways and there's no right or wrong. For me personally, I like to kind of do the light colour first. Then I like to sort of go back in with some darker, like where the lines and things are, and then come back with a bit more light if I need to. You don't want to colour too much because it'll start drying. And you want to be able to blend the colours. So I don't know if you can, how well you can see that, but can you see the bit of dark kind of contrast? Sort of, oops, there's lots of black lines, so that's kind of keeping it rough, but where I'm going. And then I'm just going to come back with a bit more light, and I'm also going to do the stems. Now they're very, what's the word, thin. If I go over the lines, that's okay, because you do want to see the colour. I want them to be green. So although my card base is Mossy Meadow, I don't have Mossy Meadow blends, but in some ways I think they would probably be a bit too dark. This is Old Olive, and it actually kind of tones in nicely without being too dark. All right, I need to keep an eye on comments. Yes, that's a good idea, Sheila, keeping your white clear ones separate so you don't kind of mix the colours. That's a good idea. Yes. All right, so again I'm going to come in with my light and the small tip. And so can you see those black lines? That's where I'm kind of going to go over, just checking this is light, yes, with my dark afterwards. So I'm going to do one flower at a time so that I can blend those colours. So who likes using Stampin Blends? I do. I don't have a whole range of all the colours, but I particularly like Petunia Pot, one of these in colours, and I know I've got Summer Splash, and then some of the other, like, you know, my greens, like Old Olive and yellows are good for flowers, some oranges and Calypso Coral and things like that. So not every colour has a blend, but quite a few do. All right, so I've done that. Now I'm going to come in with my dark, and where those black lines are, I'm kind of go over, and I want the base part of the flower to be kind of darker. So I'm really, whoops, went over the line slightly. Oh, there is a colour lifter somewhere, but I've actually left that in the other room, so I can't use it. That just takes some of the colour out. So can you see that's a bit darker, but it's a bit of a line there. So I'm going to sort of try and blend it with the light so it's not quite so what's defined. All right, let's do another flower. I like to go around the edge first, so then I can try and keep within the lines. Easier said than done. Can you see what I'm doing? Yeah. So do you like using blends? What's your favorite coloring medium? And do you have any favorite blending colors that you like? I definitely use my greens. I have Old Olive as well as Granny Apple Green, because sometimes a brighter green is quite nice. But like I say, I don't know if it comes in Mossy Meadow, but I don't have the Mossy Meadow ones. There we go. So again, a bit more dark down the bottom, but you can definitely see that grading of color, which is really good with blends, which you don't really get quite so much with things like watercolor pencils. Now this is a little flower, so we're not going to add too much. There we go. All right, so that is our image. So how's that? Okay, now so Joanne, you like using the blends too? Yeah, they are lovely. All right, so we've got our card base. Now the design is just kind of a piece on the front. I like to emboss it, so I always like to use a smaller piece, put it through the machine. And so I've got the exposed brick embossing folder. It's a good one because it gives you some texture and things, but it's not too much of a design. So I've done that already. With that one, I did put it on first, but I'm actually thinking maybe I'll do it afterwards so I can trim that. All right, and now the other thing we do need to cut is our sentiment. So I'm going to use one of the banner dies, and see, it doesn't matter that it's wonky because I can do it like that. And if I've got some washi tape or removable tape, then I can hold it in place. So I've got my little machine to cut this. So like I say, if you want to keep it really simple, you can just, you know, cut a strip and do a banner with your scissors. You don't have to use it. Now I just realized that this piece is going to be too wide for the machine, so we will trim it down. So let's just make it thinner, like so. Oh, you can't see. Trimmed it down. And so I don't want it in the center because I'm wanting it more to the left. So like that. And I'll get my piece of tape and just hold it in place. Does it look straight? It's wonky on the cardstock, but it should hopefully be straight on the cardstock. Oh, now we have to line these up a certain way. All right, there we go. Okay, it's coming through. Sorry, need to hold it. Oh, shaking the table. So with these plates, if you line them all up level, it's too thick to go in. So if you push the middle plate down a bit, then it kind of squeezes in and goes through, which is great. All right, so we've done it. I want to lift that off carefully so we don't rip anything. Okay, let's get the other bits that we need. Okay, so what I might actually do is put these on here, and then when that's all ready, then put it back onto here. All right, I'll not put it back, but put it onto there. Now you'll see with my other one, I could leave it as is. It's not on the sketch, but I wanted to add something here, so I've added a bit of twine. As you probably know, I love my twine, so I'm just going to do 2 layers there and back. So I'm just going to, let's do it that way, it's a bit easier. Let's get rid of the bottom card because it's only going around the white piece, like so. And trim it with our ribbon scissors, like so. And my tape, which is here. And I'm just going to tape it straight on because I'm not having to wind it backwards and forwards. So let's fold that in half and try and get it even somehow. Okay. So we want it kind of about there. Oh dear, I'm all hands today. I'm just going to put those bits down. And I've probably done a bit too long. But anyway. Okay, I guess better too long than too short. Okay, so about there. Now you will see with the blends that it does go through the other side. But that's okay. We're sticking it down anyway. I guess if you use thick card, stuck, it wouldn't be so noticeable, but it doesn't matter because we're going to stick it down. But be aware that blends does go through. All right, we'll just adjust it like that. Now I'm going to put it on with some dimensionals. So I'm going to put 4 in the corners. So have you seen those sketches in the annual catalogue? Have you tried any? What do you think of them? Do you like them? Yeah, sometimes I want to make a card, but just don't know where to start. So there is a starting point for you. All right, let's put that around like so. How's that? That looks good. Okay, is that straight? I think so. Okay. So what we're going to do is, there we go. See, that's how I want it more. Don't you like that? So I'm not going to put a dimensional here because it's going to stick, but I will put one there, and then I'm going to trim it and a bit of glue. So let's just use, I'm just going to use the bit off the edge, and I'm going to put it about there and put a bit of glue there so that it sticks down. Yeah, I like this. This is a bit more true to sketch. It doesn't feel like it's squished in at the top, and it's not hiding my flower. So sometimes you try things. Whoops, we want that to stick down and be straight like that, and then I'm going to turn it over. So this is number 2. So I'm learning from the first one of things to improve. So the first time I stuck this down and I couldn't cut it like that, whereas now I can. So that's cool. Then I'm going to put it on my card, and then it looks like, see, with the banner and the sketch thing. So that's cool. Now, obviously, American cards, New Zealand or South Pacific, A4 cards are slightly different. Did you know? Our cards are a little bit taller and narrower. The American cards are a little bit shorter and wider, and that's just because of their, you know, they don't call it A4 cardstock, but whatever their cardstock is, it's a little bit different to ours. Okay, so to finish it off, we need to add a bit of bling. Now, I would ideally add maybe the Petunia Pop gems, but I'm waiting for some to come in order. So just whatever you've got that you like. I'm going to use these iridescent gems, I think, which have actually not expired, retired, but, you know, I'm going to use up what I've got. Usually I put 2 on this side and 1 down here, but obviously we're quite busy there. So I'm going to put 2 over here and maybe 1 up there. So let's put my bigger ones on this side. Oh, I haven't done my bow yet. We need to do a bow. So maybe we'll do like so. And then a little one. So yeah, just use whatever embellishments and things that you've got. All right, so we need a bit more of our twine to do our bow. You can decide if you want it on the left or the right. I guess I put it on the left because of the sentiment on the right, but just whatever works. The good thing with doing it like this, you can actually slide it along and decide which side you like it on. All right, so do you think this looks like the sketch? Let's have a look. Where is it? How's that? Oh, yes, that's another idea. Good idea, Joe. Colour the gems with blends as well. Because they're a permanent ink, you can do that. But my recommendation would be colour them when they're on here and do let them dry, because I don't know if it would work with these ones. Let's have a go. Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, beautiful. Maybe we could swap. Look at that. But works nicely with rhinestones and things as well. Wonder if we can swap them over. Oh, that's pretty cool. I think, yeah. But I've made the mistake of taking them off too soon and putting them on the card, and then it kind of dropped and smudged on the page. So you could do this or rhinestones and add some color as well. I find with these ones, it kind of it pulls up the colors that are on the card anyway. So where's my catalogue? Here it is. There are lots of ideas on page 22 with different sketches and things. No measurements, but gives you ideas. If you really like sketches and you want some more ideas with that, a couple of months ago we launched the Sketch Inkspirations program, which has already started. I'll share a link in the post about it. If you want to join up, you can pay monthly, $27 per month, and you get every 2 weeks a sketch and then 3 samples using that sketch, and one's kind of true to sketch, and then 2 others are, show you how you can change it by maybe putting it on its side or taking some elements out, putting some in, that kind of thing. So if you're interested and you need more ideas, you're welcome to join that. Any questions? Oh, thank you. Yeah, I do quite like. Funny, I haven't really used Mossy Meadow for a while, but I think it's quite a stunning color. It's quite dark, but really looks nice with this. So thank you for your kind comments. Appreciate that. Yes. So just looking at if there's anything else. So just a reminder of things that are happening. If you're on my newsletter, then you'll be kept up to date with these things. So if you're not on my newsletter, I've just realized my little signage thingy isn't here today. Then go to stampwithangela.co.nz/free, and you can sign up to my newsletter. Lots of inspiration, exclusive tutorials, and then what's going on. And online exclusives came out this month. So new product that is not in a catalogue. It's not in this catalogue, but it's on the online store. Tree stamps and masks and dies and Christmas things and non-Christmas things. And as a bonus, if you buy during July and you spend $110 New Zealand, so that's the order amount before shipping, then you get an $11 coupon voucher. So for each $110 you spend, you will get an $11 voucher, which is very cool. So if you by yourself or with friends put together $330 worth of products, then you'll get 3 $11 vouchers to use in August. And then orders over $300 get stamping rewards, so you'd get $33 to spend on that order. So that's like, $66 worth of free product. Some now, some later, so that's pretty cool. So if you've got things on your wish list you're looking to order, remember bonus days. So if you've got any questions about that, you can feel free to contact me. All right, so there we go. So hopefully with today's card, using the sketch idea, colouring with blends, it's given you some ideas. So let's come back to me to finish off. I'll just see if there's any more comments or questions and things. Where are we? Here. Wonderful. All right. So thank you for joining me today. I thank you for your kind comments about the card. I mean, it's a simple card, simple idea. I love that stamp set, as you've probably known, because I've used it quite a lot recently. But yes, use the supplies and things that you've got. Use some of the sketches to give you some inspiration. And yeah, so if you're needing to find where it is, it's in the annual catalogue on page 22. And if you don't have a catalogue and you don't have a demonstrator, then reach out to me and I'll get your details and I can put one in the post to you. All right, wonderful. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate those of you that are joining me live. I know not everyone can be here live, so if you're watching the recording as well, thank you. And feel free to comment and ask questions. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. Thanks so much.